Welcome into another Dynasty rookie profile. Today we are looking at running back Kimani Vidal out of Troy. And in this series of videos, we are looking at the 2024 rookie class, and we're trying to uncover the hidden gems. We're trying to equip ourselves with the most information and the best tools when it comes to our Dynasty rookie drafts. When it comes to the third, fourth round of our Dynasty rookie draft specifically, there's some guys that maybe we can find that are hidden gems that are the next Puka Nakuas or Tank Dells or Keaton Mitchell. So we're looking at the players, we're looking at the numbers, we're looking at the film and going over things that I like, that I don't like. And again, just trying to give yourself, you, the viewers, the most information out there in order to find the hidden gems of this rookie class. So today we're looking at a guy that maybe a lot of you haven't heard of, Kimani Vidal out of Troy. Obviously Troy, a smaller school, so not a lot of people are watching Troy football on Saturdays. He went to the combine. He measured in at 5'7", 213 pounds. 5'7" is a little short, I will admit, but 213 is a good size for a running back in terms of its weight. So it's very compact runner. It's not the be all end all to be 5'7" or shorter. Ideally, you want to be closer to 5'9", 5'10", but we've seen running backs succeed at that height as well. Look at 2023. He had almost 300 carries, over 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns, as well as 18 catches, 200 yards, and another touchdown. So we're talking about almost 1,900 total yards and 19 total touchdowns. And 18 catches is pretty solid for a college running back. Right now, according to Mock Draft Database, he's being mocked as a day 3 pick. So we'll see if that changes after the combine or something, because I actually thought he looked pretty decent at the combine. You look at his numbers here. By the way, it is March 3rd, so the combine is finished up. I think offensive linemen are still running and stuff like that. But, the running backs and receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends, they're all kind of finished up. We look at the combine numbers here. He ran a 4.46, which is really, really good for a running back. Anything under 4.5 is nice for a running back, good speed. His 10-yard split, which is how fast are you within the first 10 yards of your 40-yard dash. And this is becoming an increasingly more important stat, because if you think about it, most plays for a running back don't go for 40 yards. They go for 10 yards or, less, right? There's a lot more plays that go for 10 yards than there are plays that go for 40 yards. So his 10-yard split is 1.53, which is really, really nice. Ideally, you want to be, around 1.55 and lower. At the worst, you want to be 1.57. Anything under 1.55 is actually really, really nice. So 1.53 is good to see Kimani Vidal with a good burst his first 10 yards. And then his broad jump, 120. Broad jump, it matters. It shows explosiveness, and these things do matter. If you go back and just look at all the people drafted, the people at the top of the draft are going to test better at the combine generally than the people drafted in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. Looking at some of his statistics while he was at Troy, he's actually spent 4 years at Troy, and his career dominator, which is the percentage of the team's total offense. For running backs, it's the team's total offense. For wide receivers, it's the team's passing or receiving offense. But for running backs, it's their total offense, rushing and passing. He accounted for 23% of Troy's offense over the last 4 years while he was at college, which is really, really good. We want to see above 20. Ideally, we want to see 25 or higher, but anything above 20 is really, really good. His single season high was 31, which I believe, came his last year at college. His breakout age, which again is the age in which you put up for a running back, 15% or more of a team's total offense. Okay, so he was 19 is his first season. He did that. We love to see this number at 20 or lower, so these are all checks for Kimani Vidal. His PFF rushing grade was 93.2, which is one of the highest in this draft class. Now, you got to be careful when it comes to players that are playing at smaller schools. Troy is playing teams like Stephen F. Austin, which he put up 250 yards. Arkansas State, he put up almost 250 yards. Appalachian State, he put up over 200 yards. So those 3 games alone, he's putting up 700 yards of offense in 3 games. So they don't play a whole lot of great competition. Kansas State's in there. Duke at the bowl game and things like that. But you got to always be careful when you're watching the lower competition. That doesn't mean you can't come out. Obviously, we know a lot of good players have come out of smaller schools. A couple more things that I like about him, his elusive rating at 118.9. This is breaking tackles. How often is he? There's two metrics to me that are really, really important for a running back. Do you break tackles, and do you have good breakaway percentage? His elusive rating is really, really good. We want to see this one north of 100, this number north of 100. This is according to PFF, by the way. 118.9 is really, really good. I think it's about top 5 in terms of the running backs that went to the combine. So that is great. Breakaway percentage at 37.6%. Not as high as we want. We want to see this above 40%. This is the percentage of your runs that are going for 10 yards or more. So almost 38% of his runs are going for 10 yards or more. We want to see this above 40, ideally closer to 50%. Some of the better running backs that have been successful over the past 10 years or so in fantasy football and in normal football are a lot of them are north of 45, close to 50%. So the breakaway percentage is not quite there, but the elusive rating is really, really, really good. And then his yards per route run as a receiver, 0.81, not great at all. When it comes to running backs and receiving in college, a lot of it depends on the scheme and just are they targeting their running backs a lot or not. If you look at a team like Troy, I believe he was the running back that, he had the most catches as a running back. So it's not like he wasn't able to catch the ball. They just didn't really throw the ball to their running back. So if this number is really, really good, yards per route run in college, it's a good sign to me. If it's not so great, it's not necessarily a red flag or anything. Obviously, we want to see it higher. 0.81 is not great, and that means you're not going to do much if you keep that number in the NFL. And then finally, if we look up here, guys, we have yards after contact, over 1,000 yards after contact. I think he was one of 3 running backs to have over 1,000 yards after contact. Now, obviously, that's a lot of that's because he had 300 carries, which is some of the most. Obviously, the more carries you have, the more yards after contact you're going to get. So it make no mistake, like the 3 running backs that have over 1,000 yards after contact all have over 300 or close to over 250 attempts. So his yards after contact per attempt at 3.58, which is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. He was pretty even in terms of zone versus gap. He obviously, his Troy ran more zone. Their run scheme ran more zone, 170 runs with zone versus gap at 120. Gap is like power, counter, man, things like that, where zone is like outside, inside zone. So, we like to see a little bit of a balance here. So, he's not restricted to a team that runs gap or a team that runs zone. So overall, there's a lot of good things to me that stand out from Kimani Vidal. His 40-yard time, his combine numbers in general were really intriguing to me. His production in college were really, really intriguing to me. Obviously, his PFF grade and his elusive rating. Now, his size is a little concerning. His level of competition is a little concerning. He is going to be 23 before the season starts, so it's tough. Like, teams do obviously take that into account. They want their running backs younger. They want their running backs to be 22 at the most for most of the time. But at the same time, the way I think about it, it's like running backs, a lot of them only last 3-4 years anyways. So like, if you're just going to use him for 3 or 4 years, by that time he's 27, why does it matter if he's 23 or 22, right? Just, use him and then move on if that's how you're going to treat the running back position. So, in terms of what I saw on tape when I'm watching him, he's just a nice, compact runner. He's making a lot of people miss, which I love. He has really good balance, agility, and instincts, in my opinion. He can find that hole very, very well, which is really important in a zone run scheme. He's very much a downhill runner. He's a north-south kind of runner, and he goes between the tackles. He can take hits. He's very stocky, compact, strong. He has the size, in my opinion, to be a workhorse running back. If a team needed to give him 20 carries, they could. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go to a team and be their number 1 running back, but I'm saying if he did have the chance, I think he could be that. I think he could be a good pass blocker. I don't think he's necessarily great as a pass blocker as of now, but I think he can develop into it because of his size. And then when you see him catch the ball, now he only did it 18 times, which is not a lot, but he just looks like a natural pass catcher, in my opinion. He's not amazing. He's not running this amazing route tree or anything, but these swing passes or screen plays, he looks good when he gets the ball, catching the ball and heading upfield. And again, he has a good initial burst. His long speed is solid. It's not amazing. It's solid. And some concerns, though, like, again, he's not this amazing pass catcher, which for fantasy football, we want to see a little bit of both, right? We want to see a guy who can take on the rushing attempts, but also can catch the ball. Obviously, his size is going to be a little bit of a concern. But what I really, really like about Kimani Vidal is that I feel like he's going to have a role on a team. Like, whether that's as the clear-cut backup or a special teams player, I think he's going to have a role on a team as potentially as a team's RB, drafted as a team's RB2. And we know if a running back gets hurt, the second running back on the team, any running back really on a NFL roster, is valuable in Dynasty football because running backs are just plug and play position, right? Wide receivers, not so much. Number one wide receiver gets hurt. That doesn't mean the wide receiver 3 steps up and is just better. But the number one running back gets hurt. As long as you're getting carries and touches as a running back, you're going to be valuable for fantasy football. So I really like Kimani Vidal in that I think he's going to be a 5th, 6th round pick. And I think he's going to stick on a team just because of the skill set that he offers. And that's value to me. If I can find that in the 4th round, and who knows, maybe he wins a job, maybe he, takes over as a job, or he's better than what we're giving him credit for. It's not crazy to hear of a round 5 running back do well. Kyron Williams, the first one that comes to my mind, but there's plenty of other ones out there. So overall, I like Kimani Vidal. Go ahead and watch his tape, and I think you'll be a little bit impressed about what you see. Again, if he doesn't get the draft capital, that's going to hurt him. Again, the level of competition, you have to keep that in mind. But there's some intriguing and nice things that about Kimani Vidal, and I've read rumors. Again, it's rumor season and blah blah blah. But like a team like the Chargers have shown interest in him at the Senior Bowl, and then again at the Combine. So obviously that's a really nice landing spot for a running back. So that is all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it helps you. Gives you some information about a player that you didn't really maybe know about. So we're going to be putting more of these out, a lot of these Dynasty rookie profiles, and we'll be back with another running back. So Combine's over. We're getting those numbers in. As always, like and subscribe. We'll be out with more Dynasty content, and we'll catch you guys next time.